The coffee was still warm when they found Robert Hutchinson floating face down in his bathtub, his grief journal splayed open on the bathroom floor, certain pages torn out and missing. Detective Ray Espinoza stood in the doorway of the modest Denver home, watching the forensics team work around the body. 54 years old, divorced, living alone since his daughter Emma drowned 2 years ago at a lake party. The prescription bottle of Ambien sat on the sink, cap off, 3 pills scattered on the white tile like abandoned promises. "Look straight forward," Officer Daniels said, stepping carefully around the evidence markers. "Man lost his kid to drowning, couldn't take it anymore, recreated her death. Support group leader says he'd been struggling lately." Espinoza nodded slowly, but something nagged at him. The torn journal pages. Why remove them? In his experience, people who planned their final moments wanted their words preserved, their pain understood. They didn't edit their last testimony. Those missing pages meant something. Margaret Dalton sat in the living room, tissues crumpled in her lap. As facilitator of the New Beginnings grief support group, she'd seen members struggle before, but losing one hit hard. Robert was making progress, she insisted, her voice thick with emotion. Just last week, he talked about maybe dating again. He'd met someone at the grocery store, exchanged numbers. He was hopeful for the first time in 2 years. The medical examiner's assessment came back as expected. Drowning, accelerated by benzodiazepine intoxication. Time of death between 9 p.m. and midnight. Robert's phone showed he'd sent a text to his sister at 8:47 p.m. Thinking of Emma tonight, going to take a bath and get some sleep. Nothing suspicious, except for those missing journal pages. 6 days later, Diana Reeves was found in her garage. The 41-year-old marketing executive had survived the car accident that killed her husband Paul 3 years ago. Survivor's guilt had consumed her ever since. The garage door was closed, her BMW running, carbon monoxide levels through the roof. Her phone, plugged into the car's system, played their wedding song on repeat, the same song from their first dance. Diana's best friend Sarah confirmed she'd been getting strange texts from anonymous numbers, messages saying, "You should have been the one," and "Paul is waiting for you." Sarah had urged her to change her number, but Diana thought it was just cruel pranks. Margaret Dalton was devastated when she heard. 2 members in less than a week. "We talked about suicide contagion at our last meeting," she said, wringing her hands. "When we lose someone, others can be triggered. I should have done more, should have checked on everyone." The support group met every Thursday night in the basement of St. Catherine's Church, a circle of folding chairs under fluorescent lights. 10 regular members, sometimes a few drop-ins. Margaret kept meticulous records, not just attendance, but detailed notes about each person's journey, their triggers, their medications, their progress. Everyone's grief was different, she always said. Espinoza attended the next meeting, observing from the back row. 8 members sat in their usual circle, Robert and Diana's empty chairs like open wounds. The discussion was raw, painful. Several members admitted to having dark thoughts since the deaths. Jennifer Forsyth, a 33-year-old former nurse who'd lost her daughter Lucy to leukemia, seemed especially affected. She kept touching a small locket around her neck, tears streaming down her face. Diana was getting better, she whispered. She was planning a vacation to Costa Rica. Paul always wanted to go there. She was finally ready to live again. Trevor Thompson, whose wife had died in childbirth 10 months ago, looked pale and disoriented. He kept losing his train of thought mid-sentence, apologizing repeatedly. "I haven't been sleeping," he mumbled, "or eating much. Everything feels foggy, like I'm underwater all the time." Nathan Cross, just 28, fidgeted constantly in his chair. His twin brother Oliver had overdosed on fentanyl 14 months ago. Nathan had been the one to find him. "This is fucked up," he said suddenly, his voice cracking. "First Robert drowns like his daughter Emma, then Diana dies in a car like Paul. What's next? Someone ODs like Oliver." He laughed bitterly. "Maybe I should skip town before it's my turn." Margaret gently redirected the conversation, but Espinoza noticed Jennifer place a comforting hand on Nathan's shoulder, whispering something that made him relax slightly. She had a way with the grieving, a natural empathy that seemed to calm everyone. 4 days later, Nathan Cross was dead. The scene was eerily neat. Nathan on his bed, syringe on the nightstand, tourniquet still wrapped around his arm. The same drug that killed his brother, fentanyl, likely mixed with xylazine based on the distinctive wounds. His apartment door was locked from the inside, chain engaged. The window had been painted shut years ago, but Nathan's spare key, the one he kept hidden under a fake rock by the door, was missing. 3 deaths, 3 methods matching their loved ones' deaths, Espinoza told his captain, laying out the files on his desk. That's not coincidence, that's a pattern. Suicide clusters are real, Detective, especially in support groups. These people are vulnerable, suggestible. One goes, others follow. Someone's helping them along, Espinoza insisted. He pulled up the timeline on his tablet. Look at this. Each victim had recently shown improvement. Robert was dating. Diana booked a vacation. Nathan had just applied to graduate school. I found the application on his laptop, submitted 2 days before he died. All 3 victims had installed the same meditation app, Healing Journeys, recommended at the support group. The app requested unusual permissions, location access, microphone, contacts, even keyboard input. Hidden in its code, the IT forensics team found a keystroke logger. Someone had been reading their private journal entries, their texts, their emails, learning their schedules, their vulnerabilities, their breaking points. Security footage from the coffee shop near the church showed Diana meeting someone 3 hours before her death. The person wore a baseball cap and sunglasses, face obscured, but on their wrist, a distinctive medical alert bracelet with an unusual charm. Espinoza recognized that bracelet. He'd seen it at the support group meeting, catching the light as its owner gestured while speaking. Jennifer Forsyth. The investigation into Jennifer revealed troubling gaps. She'd told the group she was a pediatric nurse who'd left the profession after her daughter's death, unable to bear being around sick children, but the Colorado Board of Nursing had no current license for her. She'd been suspended 3 years ago, before her daughter allegedly died, pending investigation into concerning patterns at Denver Children's Hospital. 7 children under her care had experienced unexpected medical crises. 2 had died. Nothing was ever proven, but the suspicion was enough. She'd agreed to surrender her license rather than face formal proceedings. But here was the thing that made Espinoza's blood run cold. There was no record of Jennifer Forsyth ever having a daughter, no birth certificate for Lucy Forsyth, no medical records, no death certificate. The photos she'd shared with the group were stock images. A reverse search revealed the locket she constantly touched. Inside was a picture cut from a magazine. Jennifer had attended at least 4 different support groups over the past 5 years, always with a different tragic story. A husband killed in Iraq, a sister who died by suicide, parents killed by a drunk driver. Each time she'd ingratiated herself with the most vulnerable members, and each time, within months, members started dying. The pattern was sophisticated. Jennifer would identify people whose loved ones died in ways that could be recreated. She'd become their closest confidant, learning every detail of their trauma. Then, when they started to heal, she'd help them reunite with their lost loved ones. But it went deeper than that. Espinoza found connections that made his stomach turn. Jennifer had worked at the hospital where Diana's husband died after his car accident. She'd been on shift that night. Paul Reeves's death had been unexpected. He'd been stabilizing after surgery, then suddenly crashed. The attending physician called it a tragic complication, but now, Espinoza wondered. She'd volunteered at the community center that hosted the party where Robert's daughter, Emma, drowned. Witnesses now remembered a woman matching Jennifer's description near the pool gate, which was found inexplicably unlocked despite strict protocols. The lock hadn't been forced. Someone with a key had opened it. She'd worked at 3 different pharmacies over 2 years, including the one where Nathan's brother Oliver got his drugs. The batch that killed Oliver had been unusually pure. pharmaceutical-grade fentanyl that should never have been on the street, the kind that came from medical supplies. Jennifer wasn't just killing support group members, she was creating them, manufacturing grief, then feeding on it, then ending it when her victims threatened to heal. A serial killer who murdered people twice, first their loved ones, then them. Trevor Thompson answered his door on the fourth ring, swaying slightly on his feet. "Detective, sorry, I was napping. Can't seem to stay awake lately." Espinoza noticed the medical alert bracelet on Trevor's coffee table. "That yours?" "No, it's Jennifer from group loaned it to me. Says it helps with anxiety, some kind of magnetic therapy thing. She's been so helpful, bringing me meals, checking on me every day." Trevor rubbed his eyes, struggling to focus. "She's a nurse, you know. Was a nurse, lost her daughter to cancer." "Trevor, I need you to come with me, now." "Am I in trouble? I haven't done anything." "You're in danger. Jennifer Forsyth has been drugging you." The bracelet was a glucose monitor, the kind diabetics use. Jennifer had been monitoring Trevor's blood sugar while secretly giving him insulin, small doses mixed into the food she brought. Enough to cause confusion, depression, symptoms that looked exactly like severe grief. She was preparing him to be victim number 4. They found Jennifer at her apartment, calmly packing a bag. She didn't run when they arrested her. She smiled. "They're happier now," she said simply, as if explaining something obvious. "Robert is with Emma. Diana is with Paul. Nathan is with Oliver. I helped them. No one else would." The apartment was a shrine to death. Hundreds of recordings from support group sessions, photos of victims, both the original loved ones and the group members. Detailed notes on methods, timing, dosages. She'd been perfecting her approach for years. On her laptop, they found her journal, the final entry, written that morning. "Trevor will be ready soon. His wife died bringing life into the world. Poetic that he'll leave the same way. The Brevital I've been saving will work perfectly. Then it will be time to move on. There's a support group in Boulder that looks promising. A woman whose child died in a fire. A man whose father fell from a ladder. So many people in pain. So many I can help find peace." In interrogation, Jennifer was calm, articulate, absolutely convinced of her righteousness. "You don't understand grief," she told Espinoza, leaning forward across the metal table. "Real grief never ends. It just waits, like a tide. I gave them what they really wanted, reunion. Every one of them had thought about it. I just helped them achieve it." "You murdered them." "I completed them. There's a difference." "What about their families, the people left behind?" Jennifer tilted her head, genuinely puzzled by the question. "They'll join support groups. Someone will help them too, eventually. The cycle continues. That's how grief works. You never had a daughter, did you? Lucy never existed." For the first time, Jennifer's composure cracked, just slightly. "She existed to me. I carried her inside me for 9 months. Not in my womb, in my heart. I created her, nurtured her, lost her. My grief is as real as anyone's." "You're sick." "I'm evolved," Jennifer corrected, her voice steady again. "I understand that life and death are just different rooms in the same house. I help people find the right door." Investigation connected Jennifer to 11 deaths across 3 states, victims she'd created, then killed. At trial, guilty on all counts. "Grief is patient," she told Espinoza as they led her away. "There are others like me. We recognize each other in the rooms." Espinoza thought about that often. He started attending a support group himself, watching for someone taking too many notes, offering too much help. The meditation app had 10,000 downloads before removal. Somewhere, someone had thousands of people's darkest moments. Support groups changed. Background checks, no recordings. But everyone knew these were band-aids. The most dangerous predators attack with kindness. They make you want to die, then help, then call it love. In her cell, Jennifer wrote about families she'd completed, drew pictures of Lucy, who never existed but was more real than anything. Because grief is patient, and there are always more doors to open.